In every zombie movie, there is one rule. If you get bitten, you lose your consciousness and become one of them within hours. But the truly terrifying part of nature is that sometimes no one bites you. They just reprogram you. Today we are talking about a world where individual will disappears, and the brain is hijacked by an external program. Neuroscience tells us that all our movements are controlled by electrical signals in our brain. But what if someone else controlled those signals from the outside? This doesn't just happen in movies, it happens every second in the depths of the forest. Let's start with the most famous puppeteer, the Cordyceps fungus. Cordyceps isn't just a fungus, it's a biological hacker created by millions of years of evolution. When an ant accidentally touches a fungal spore, the spore melts the ant's hard outer shell, its exoskeleton, using special enzymes. From there, the fungal cells seep inside and begin to divide rapidly. But pay attention here. Research conducted at Pennsylvania State University in 2017 shows that the fungal cells do not attack the ant's brain. Instead, they build a network around the ant's leg and jaw muscles. It's like controlling a computer's keyboard and mouse from the outside without touching the CPU itself. The ant is still alive, still feels everything, and perhaps wants to run away, but its body is already following the commands of the fungus. The fungus alters the ant's internal chemistry, stripping it of its fear of heights. Normally, an ant that lives on the forest floor begins to climb upward with a strange instinct caused by the fungus. Scientists call this summit disease. The fungus leads the ant to a very specific point in the forest, exactly about 25 centimeters above the ground, where the humidity is over 90% and the temperature is perfect for the fungus to grow. This is no accident. This is a coordinate calculated with GPS-like precision. The ant bites into the main vein on the underside of a leaf. At that moment, the fungus locks the ant's jaw muscles. Now, even if the ant wanted to, it could not let go of the leaf. This is the end of the road for the ant. The fungus begins to digest the ant's internal organs and eventually erupts from the head of the corpse in the form of a stalk. This stalk is a spore bomb. When the wind blows, a new virus rain falls on the healthy ants passing below, and the cycle begins again. Now let's look at an even more advanced form of control. This time the target isn't a small insect, it's a mammal, a mouse. A microscopic parasite called Toxoplasma gondii can only reproduce inside a cat's gut. But to get there, it needs a ride. That ride is a mouse. Normally, a healthy mouse would never go near a cat. In fact, mice have an alarm signal in their brains that triggers when they smell cat urine, causing them to flee. When toxoplasma settles in a mouse's brain, it completely shuts down this alarm center. It goes even further, making the smell of cat urine attractive to the mouse. As a result, the mouse walks right up to the cat like a zombie. The cat eats the mouse, and the parasite reaches its destination, the cat's gut. Can this parasite pass to humans? Yes. It is estimated that about 1/3 of the world's population has this parasite in their brains. Some psychiatric studies claim this parasite increases risk-taking tendencies in humans, but this puppeteer of nature has not yet revealed all its secrets. Imagine a creature's eyes flashing like a colorful television. A parasite called Leucochloridium targets snails. The parasite settles in the snail's eye stalks and creates a pulsating rhythmic image of a colorful caterpillar. Normally, a snail that loves darkness and moisture begins to move into open areas and high places under the influence of the parasite. Why? Because birds love caterpillars. The parasite uses the snail's body like a billboard to get the bird's attention. The bird plucked the snail's eyes out, and the parasite enters the bird's stomach to reproduce. The snail sometimes survives, and when its eyes grow back, it often becomes a victim of the same horrific cycle all over again. At this point, a question probably came to your mind. If a fungus can control an ant, and a parasite can control a mouse, is there a creature that can control a human? This question has interested scientists for many years. In reality, there are many microorganisms that can influence human behavior. But none of them turn humans into full-blown zombies like in the movies. Take the rabies virus, for example. After entering the body, the rabies virus does not travel through the blood, but along the nerves. It moves toward the brain at a speed of about 1 to 10 millimeters per hour. Once it reaches the brain, the virus begins to change the person's behavior. The most interesting part is that the virus needs saliva to spread. Therefore, the infected person or animal becomes aggressive, prone to biting, and the amount of saliva increases. It is as if the virus changes the host's behavior to ensure its own reproduction. This isn't a full zombie, but it is one of the strongest examples of behavior modification. Now let's look at another interesting fact. There are trillions of bacteria living in our gut, known as the microbiome. Research in recent years shows that these bacteria are in constant communication with our brain. Scientists call this the gut-brain axis. For example, some bacteria can influence the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. This can affect our mood, stress levels, and even some of our decisions. This doesn't mean bacteria control us, but it shows we are part of a much more complex system than we thought. The human body does not consist of us alone. Trillions of microorganisms living with us are also part of this system. After the success of The Last of Us, this is one of the most frequently asked questions. Could Cordyceps one day infect humans? According to current scientific knowledge, no. The main reason for this is the human body temperature. Most Cordyceps species develop at temperatures of about 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. The average human body temperature is 37 degrees. This temperature is not suitable for the fungus to survive. Furthermore, the human immune system is far more complex than an ant's. Therefore, there is no scientific evidence that Cordyceps could control the human brain. However, as a result of climate change, some fungi have been observed adapting to higher temperatures. This is one of the topics scientists are watching closely. This doesn't mean Cordyceps will pass to humans tomorrow. It just means the evolution of fungi continues. We usually consider humans to be the most intelligent creatures on Earth. But sometimes, a creature visible only under a microscope has developed strategies over millions of years of evolution that leave you in awe the more you study them. A fungus turns an ant into its soldier. A parasite erases a mouse's fear. Another turns a snail into a living advertisement. And all of this is done for one single purpose: survival. Perhaps the most interesting part of this video is this. The most dangerous creature in nature is not always the largest. Sometimes the most dangerous creature is so small it cannot even be seen with the naked eye. And perhaps the real fear is this: to be controlled without even feeling that you are being controlled.